Welcome, welcome all to your Amir Shakur Speak Show with your host Amir Shakur. That's me. Today we're remembering a tragic tragic event in American history that's had a long term impact in not just American history but world history. The September 11th tragedy. Um, Opening up on a special note. Um, I believe that American history had changed, and we all know that it changed. So, I want to talk a little bit about that just in the long term. And well, events and celebrations and honors, and we like to think of things in a positive sense, but the tragedy itself goes without saying that it was an event that changed American history. So, with that being said, I'd just like to welcome you to Amir Shakur Space, which brings the best of information, faith, and politics, all done from an and urban perspective, I should say. Today, our show is sponsored by Black America World News and the Amir Shakur Speaks show. Um, One thing that I want to put in order is, for those who don't know and maybe those who are new to it, the term 9/11 refers to the September 11th terrorist attacks, which many of us know as the deadliest attacks in U.S. history. On that day, 19 terrorists, 19 from the extremist group Al Qaeda, hijacked four commercial airplanes and carried out a coordinated suicide attack against symbolic targets in the United States. The attacks killed 2,977 people and injured over 6,000 others. So, as we're talking a little bit about today's events, I just want to go ahead and we just want to go ahead and pay respect to those who were lost and whose lives were affected that day. Welcome everybody in the chat and those who haven't seen the show and the stream. Please feel free to like and subscribe to us. And for those who will see this, please feel free to subscribe to us and share this post. Um, yes, things did change. So I want to go back to a little bit about the attacks and the long-term impacts of that attack. Um, the attacks and the U.S. response had a significant and lasting impact on American and global affairs, right? The U.S. government instituted sweeping changes to domestic security, and we know that in the airports, and we know that and the way that we travel has not been the same since then, including the Department of Homeland Security and new airport security protocols, which we talked about both foreign and abroad. So the events led to the U.S. military interventions in Afghanistan and Iraq, and history will show us how these events ended up. Um, Other things that I wanted to, to notate and record and monitor: the health attacks, the health effects, first responders, recovery workers, residents near the World Trade Center. The site was exposed to toxic dust and subsidence. In the years since, many have developed long term health issues, including respiratory problems and various cancers. We know of celebrities, Donna Summers, who potentially could have died from the cancerous effects of being on the World Trade Center grounds and near the events, and did inhale some of the toxic dust that day. So, there were more people than that. But today, the victims are honored at several memorials, including the September 11th Memorial Museum in New York City, and the Pentagon Memorial in Virginia, and the Flight 93 Memorial in Pennsylvania. So we're going to go on the ground and just kind of peep some of those memorials and take a look at them as they stand. I think it's worthy. And A moment of silence will we just stand with us and stand by it at nine. Believe it's 9:06. Let's check that. Let's verify that for the moment when the South Tower was struck. So I just want to check that and verify that. And we'll have a moment of silence when the South Tower was struck on 9/11. Um, right now, just for those who are not aware, let's just share. I just want to share a little bit of video in reference to the September 11th attacks, and just to give an idea of of the historical aspect of what it was, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the significance of what it was. So just want to share the memorial. So let's go to the ground and go to New York, as a matter of fact, and just kind of peep in on what they're doing.
Homer,
Jaime Concepcion,
Albert Conde,
Denise Conley,
Susan P. Conlon,
Margaret Mary Connor,
Cynthia Marie Lease Connolly,
John E. Connolly Jr.,
James Lee Connor,
Jonathan M. Connors,
Kevin Patrick Connors,
Kevin F. Conroy,
Brenda E. Conway,
Dennis Michael Cook,
Helen D. Cook,
Jeffrey W. Coombs,
John A. Cooper,
Julian T. Cooper,
Joseph John Capo Jr.,
Gerard J. Coppola,
Joseph Albert Corbett,
John J. Corcoran III,
Alejandro Cordero,
Robert Joseph Cordice,
Ruben D. Correa,
Danny A. Correa Gutierrez,
Georgine Rose Corrigan,
James J. Corrigan,
Carlos Cortez Rodriguez,
Kevin Michael Cosgrove,
Dolores Marie Costa,
Digna Alexandra Costanza,
Charles Gregory Costello Jr.,
Michael S. Costello,
Asia S. Cotton,
Conrad Kofi Katoy Sr.,
Martin John Coughlin,
John G. Coughlin,
Timothy J. Coughlin,
James E. Cove,
and my brother Brian Joseph Murphy.
So right now, give me a second. Let's have a moment of silence right now for the time when the planes hit the South Tower. 9:03 is the exact time, and it's 9:04. So join me in just a moment of silence. And what I will do is I will share photos from the Associated Press, and I think it's worthy. So a moment of silence. Give us 3 minutes. So as we're doing a moment of silence, I just want to thank everyone who has been supportive of my stream. And for those who are just joining, today we're talking about the 9/11 attacks, which for me and many of us was was an incident that changed not just our history but world history. Um, I don't think our lives have been the same since then. I can remember that morning, just watching the events. I think I was supposed to be at a breakfast event with someone, and I just from that point on, things had totally changed. Um, and just being glued to the TV and watching NBC, and even the point when the South Towers fell. I mean, I just yeah, I mean, it's an experience that for me, words can never ever you can't put into words. And then I can imagine the folks who were on the ground. Do you remember where you guys were at when the South Towers fell or when 9/11? I mean, definitely share your stories and what impacts did 9/11 have, um, not just beyond the situation in itself, but even the declaration of war on terror that affected our lives for years to come after that. The 9/11 attacks uh, participated long-ranging, long-lasting changes in foreign economy, the world economy, American society. Um, Security and civil liberties have never been the same. Do you guys remember the moment when George Bush made the announcement of what happened? And I wanna share that because I think that was a pivotal moment in our history, and I believe that he was at an elementary school way that. We'll also talk about one particular incident, and I just want to go back to some of the pictures of the people. Let's see if I could find that. Some of the people who were on the ground that day. But I think that, like these are, if you can see this particular picture here, I'm gonna enlarge it. The people who were actually jumping to their desks, and basically they had no choice but to jump or be disintegrated. And I think, it's definitely tragic to say, when you were confronted with these type of moments in life, and there's how do you react? How do you react? So my thing is that um I just I just think that we can't. Life is so precious, and we just can't take it for granted. And these type of moments, we have to really think about things from a perspective of just learning, from a perspective of visualization. And there's really no words that will ever discuss, that we'll ever be able to talk about or rationalize with, because some certain things are beyond conversation, beyond resolution, and we have to think about things from the point of just being there to support, you know. But the video remarks by George W. Bush were at the Emma E. Booker Elementary School in Sarasota, where he was at. I just want to share that those remarks, and then we'll come back. And like I said, you guys remember where you were during these. Sharing your. The other things that I wanted to, the after effects of the war on terror, which preceded 9/11, but definitely went into full effect during the 9/11 event. Some of those things, again, had changed our landscape. You know, Oh, um, Ahmed, Imagine yourself of being a person who would be subject to these particular events on. And bear with me while we're pulling up our feed. Bear with me. Give me one moment, please. There we go. So I believe that, you know, the Congress passed the U.S. Patriot Act at the same time, and we remember how we were affected by the Patriot Act. You know, I just think that it's a situation to where it's like, again, you can never put these things into words and how you feel, right? Tighter security everywhere. Thank you for that. Thank you, Beth. Many people had lung problems. That's correct. Good morning, Ramona. The fallout effects were horrible. My son came running into the kitchen to tell me to turn on the TV. Yes. Good morning and blessings, Grace Levi. Miss Levi, how are you? Thank you. Welcome, Queen. It was so horrifying to see people jumping out of those windows. Yes. Yes. I think that it was very horrible. Blessings. Everyone is sending blessings to each other. Grace, Ramona, Beth, and everyone else who's joining us. Feel free to share the feed, share the like in the feed, and just want to talk a little bit about and show a little bit about the video. I'm trying to pull it up. Let's go back to the memorial, some of the memorials, the live feeds on the memorials. I think it's very relevant that we pay attention and support around the country on such an occasion. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of the survival stories. But you know, the 9/11 event again had tragically changed our history. So if you are joining in or even gonna watch, sharing the post, I mean, remembering 9/11, you know, we want to go to bear with me. I want to go to New York and the New York City Memorial Service for 9/11. So let's look at a little bit about that while we're sharing it. Do you remember where you were during 9/11?
Gerald Francis Hardacre.
Jeffrey Pike Hardy.
T.J. Hargrave.
Daniel Edward Harlan.
Francis Harros.
Harvey L. Harrell.
Stephen G. Harrell.
Melissa Harrington Hughes.
Aisha Ann Harris.
Stuart D. Harris.
John Patrick Hart.
Eric Hartano.
John Clinton Hartz.
Emmerich Harvey.
And my father, David Michael Barkway. Although I didn't get to meet you, I've heard so many amazing stories from your loved ones. I've picked up your golf obsession, and I have your clubs, and I'm chasing your scores. My dad was a proud Canadian who loved his family, friends, golf, and his job at BMO. On behalf of my mom, my brother Jamie, and I, we love you and we miss you.
and my niece Michelle Marie Reed, who would have turned 50 years young this July 9th, 2025. Even though it's been 24 years that we have been here living our lives without you, missing your infectious smile and your unbelievable zest for living each day to its fullest. Be it working at A&On, spending weekends with your family in upstate Shenango County on the farm, riding the trails on your ATV, or listening to the Grateful Dead, or enjoying photography. Your name is spoken daily with beautiful memories of your childhood and college events. We honor you today, along with the 2,976 others who perished on 9/11, and the family members and loved ones who stand before you today. Implore you to continue to educate our country and especially our children on this incredible importance of this historic day. God bless America. Thank you.
I'm just gonna leave that feed up. I'm gonna leave the feed up from the memorial for a little bit while we're watching and we're thinking about where were you at? Where were you at? So, Miss Grace, I was working at the Newark airport. They took one of the planes from Terminal B, and I was working on Terminal C, and I was 17 or 18 years old. Wow. Thank you for sharing, Amir. People should remember these people, firefighters, police officers, and others, EMTs and others on that day, correct? No, I agree. I agree. Part of the heart was wondering if people survived the attack. Correct. No, I agree. The day that I had to walk from Newark to airport to downtown Newark because they told us all to stay in the parking lot, and I wasn't afraid to do that. My son and I met a survivor, and he was doing electrical work outside of one of the buildings. Wow. Thank you guys for sharing the great stories. You know, as we're going back and we're looking at some of these memorials and some of these images, and, have you guys been to the 9/11 memorial in New York City? Has anyone been there yet? Has anyone? Let's listen. Let's go back in and listen a little bit.
Ronald John Hemingway.
Mark F. Hemscott,
Ronnie Lee Henderson.
Brian Hennessy,
Edward R. Hennessy Jr.
Michelle Marie Enrique,
Joseph Patrick Henry.
William L. Henry Jr.,
Katharina Henry Robinson.
John Christopher Henwood,
Robert Allen Hepburn.
Mary Herencia,
Lindsay C. Harkness III.
Harvey Robert Hermer,
Noberto Hernandez.
Raul Hernandez,
Are you starting a business? Do you need a logo? Design.com offers the world's #1 AI logo generator and a massive library. Handmade by design.
So coming back in, and let's stop sharing in real time. So, I think that it's worthy that we talk a little bit about um, the after effects. Transportation Security Administration was made on 9/11, shortly thereafter by the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah, and let's talk about the systems that have changed in our society and our world since then. I was shocked to learn that there were survivors of this horrific event, and I can't imagine their stories. Yes, and stories to live and share. Their amazing stories is amazing, and it is. The day that I saw the plane coming out of the other side of the building from the terminal, I was literally right across the ocean. That's so amazing. That's why I didn't stay in the parking lot. I thought that they would target us being in a group. Wow. The survivor we met underneath rubble, he was rescued. He had horrible or terrible burns on one of his arms and showed us his arm. The doctors did great work. Thank you for that. And my son visited the site last year. He was amazing, feeling the pain he felt just viewing ground zero, or zero ground, but we call it ground zero. We know what you meant. Let's oh, yes. Yes, I had been to that area, but I had before they built the new building. It's a very heavy feeling in the area, and I did not like it. Yes, I understand. I want to go back and I want to share the aftermath of the event with George Bush actually doing his speech from DC, or actually it's from an undisclosed location about it. And I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Give me 1 second while we pull that up. Um, just bear with me 1 second and we'll pull that up and share that.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices, secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. A great people has been moved to defend a great nation. Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shattered steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining. Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America, with the daring of our rescue workers, with the caring for strangers and neighbors who came to give blood and help in any way they could. Immediately following the first attack, I implemented our government's emergency response plans. Our military is powerful and it's prepared. Our emergency teams are working in New York City and Washington, D.C. to help with local rescue efforts. Our first priority is to get help to those who have been injured and to take every precaution to protect our citizens at home and around the world from further attacks. The functions of our government continue without interruption. Federal agencies in Washington, which had to be evacuated today, are reopening for essential personnel tonight and will be open for business tomorrow. Our financial institutions remain strong, and the American economy will be open for business as well. The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts. I've directed the full resources of intelligence and law enforcement community and to bring them to justice. We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those of them. Congress who have joined me strongly condemning these attacks. The American people. I thank the many world leaders who have called to offer their condolences and assistance. America and our friends and allies join with all those who want peace and security in the world, and we stand together to win the war against terrorism. Tonight I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened.
and painful as if it all just happened yesterday. What I do know is that you made a tremendous impact on so many people while you were here, and that your memory lives on through the lives of the people that you touched. We miss you and we love you.
And my godfather and uncle, Richard S. Gabriel, we love you and miss you. Your spirit lives on. And I know that my Uncle Richie would want me to give a shout out to all the first responders who gave their lives on that day. For the longest time, we thought he died alone on the 78th floor, and we later learned that Battalion Chief Oriel Palmer and Fire Marshal Ronald Buca were there, and there was hope and there was comfort in having those first responders there. Thank you to all the first responders and to everybody who is currently battling 9/11 related illnesses and who passed from it. My heart goes out to you as well. Thank you.
Cara Judy. Wider Jean. Eliza Jimenez Jr. Luis Jimenez Jr. Charles Gregory John. Nicholas John. Dennis M. Johnson. Lashana Johnson. Scott Michael Johnson. William R. Johnston. Allison Horseman Jones. Arthur Joseph Jones III. Brian Leander Jones. Charles Edward Jones. Christopher D. Jones. Donald T. Jones II. Donald W. Jones. Judith Walter Jones. Linda Jones. Mary S. Jones. Andrew Brian Jordan Sr. Robert Thomas Jordan. Albert Gunnis Joseph. Ingeborg Joseph. Carl Henry Joseph. Stephen Joseph. Jane Eileen Josiah. Anthony Jovic. Angel L. Quarbe Jr. Karen Sue Juday. Ann C. Judge. Michael F. Judge. Paul William Jurgens. Thomas Edward Jurgens. Shashikaran Lakshmikanta Kadaba. Gavharoy Kamarjinova. Shari Kandel. And our grandfather, the Battalion Chief Joseph Grislak. Although we never had the chance to hold your hand or toss a ball around with you, we have come to know the kind of grandfather that you would have been. The stories passed down taught us that you were brave, brilliant, and an endlessly devoted family man, Marine and member of FDNY. No. We can feel your presence in every sign that you send, from the dragonflies by the sidewalk, every lyric of I Hope You Dance that plays at just the right time. We, along with Jojo and embody so many of your and athletic. We are proud to live your legacy, call you Joe Knows, and most importantly, Poppy Joe. Continue to send us signs and continue to guide us in the dance we call life. God bless America.
I took an express subway train from Times Square to Chambers Street, which is the stop just before the World Trade Center. The first thing I saw was the two World Trade Centers. Both of them had smoke and fire coming from them. I just started making my pictures. I was photographing the burning building when EMT says, "Oh my gosh, look at that." And we started seeing people coming down out of the building.
804, building 2, 80 people trapped. 204, 10-4.
I instinctively picked up my camera and started photographing them, following them as they came down, until I photographed what has become known as the falling man. It's a very quiet photograph. It's not like a lot of other violent photographs from other disasters. There's no blood, there's no guts, there's nobody getting shot. But people react to it in a way that they feel that they can relate to this photograph, that they might have been in the same situation and they might have had to make whatever choice the man in the photograph made. Very aware of your surroundings when you're away from a falling building. We don't run away from the fire, we run to it, because it's our job to record history. I didn't know I had that photograph of that man in that position until I actually saw it on my computer when I got back to the office. I called one of our photo editors and I showed him the picture. I said, "This is it. This has got to be the picture." This man was like an arrow bisecting the two World Trade Centers. I woke up the next morning and I opened up the paper and there was my photograph of Falling Man. It was a very brave thing for them to use that picture. It was the only picture that was like that of anybody falling from the building. The only picture that showed any kind of human interaction like that. A paper in Allentown, Pennsylvania used the picture. They put it on their whole back page in the newspaper, and the editor said that it was that important to photograph, and he got a lot of mail, letters to the editor saying, "You shouldn't have run this. This is not something I want my children to see." Tom Janot, the author of the Esquire article, he's the one who came up with the name The Falling Man. That was the name of the article, and it sort of stuck. I've never regretted taking that photograph at all. It's probably one of the only photographs that actually shows someone dying that day. We have a terrorist attack on our own soil and we still don't see pictures of our people dying, and this is a photograph of someone dying.
So yes, today the identification of the falling man is not known, but most people believe that it is Jonathan Briley, who is a sound engineer. As a matter of fact, he worked at the Windows of the World, this one of the centers in this tower, just a social center, had restaurants, so on and so forth. So Windows of the World, Briley had asthma and would have known that he was in danger because the smoke began to pour into the restaurant. He was initially identified by his brother Timothy, and then I believe his sister said, "This is my brother." So yeah, these tragic stories of 9/11, are again volatile to our history, and we got to keep telling the stories, y'all. We got to keep letting people see it for what it is. Our world changed on this thing. That was why it was important for us to do the story, us to do the stream, and all of the after effects, targeting of Muslim and immigrant communities, Arab, Middle Eastern, Muslim, South Asian, these communities, all of these things began um, right around 9/11 and beyond. The government implemented programs, the national security entry and exit registration system, which required that certain immigrants are members of the Muslim community or Muslim majority countries to register with immigration officials. You know, stricter security measures, which you've talked about, the reinforcement of cockpit doors, which never was the thing in airports, increased hassle factors for travelers. Costs went up for airlines. This contributed to multiple airlines going bankrupt, as a matter of fact, because they couldn't incur the cost. So and that's just the level of that. A lot of tragedy. Um, Many would say, I mean, and I just want to, just before we leave, I just want a consensus. Do you guys think that our world is better because of what happened to 9/11? Do you think that our world is more secure? That's the question of the hour. Are we more secure? You know, yes, it is definitely sad. Uh, the Jonathan Bradley and the Falling Man, and his story is just one of the stories, one of the photos of people falling from the tower and their bodies being found on the ground. Again, when I first looked at the picture, I saw it was a man, and if I didn't know better, it could have been, Jonathan, according to his sister. And Jonathan Bradley's remains were recovered by, and his family actually had the remains. Um, and just so you guys know, Jonathan's brother Alex Bradley was a member of the band, the Village People. So a lot of tragedy on 9/11. So, and I just want to, just recap. Let's go before I do the final recap, guys, and thank you for joining. Let's just go back to the 9/11 memorial because I think it's important and just to listen in a little bit more.
Laverty,
Robert A. Lawrence Jr.,
Stephen Lawn,
and my uncle firefighter Joseph Patrick Henry of Ladder 21. I never met you, but you will always be my hero. We all miss you so much. Your bravery will never be forgotten. God bless America.
and my aunt, Danielle Casoulas. Although never fortunate enough to have met you, your memory still continues to live on from the stories of your selfless heart, your smile, and your tenacity for everything you set your mind to. The stories of your life inspire me every day. You inspired me to run my first marathon and to never give up on my dreams of attending the United States Coast Guard Academy to one day serve my country. You are my why. You are loved and you are missed, and you will never be forgotten.
David W. Lachak,
Eugene Gabriel Lazar,
James Patrick Leahy,
Joseph Gerard Levy,
Neil J. Levy,
Robert G. LeBlanc,
Leon Labor,
Kenneth Charles Ledee,
Alan J. Letterman,
Helena F. Ledesma,
Alexis Leduc,
Daniel John Lee,
David S. Lee,
Dong Chul Lee,
Gary H. Lee,
Hyun Jun Lee,
Juanita Lee,
Catherine Blair Lee,
Linda C. Lee,
Lorraine Mary Green Lee,
Myung Woo Lee,
Richard Y. C. Lee,
Stuart Soo Jin Lee,
Yang Deer Lee,
Stephen Paul Lefkowitz,
Adriana Lagara,
Edward Joseph Lehman,
Eric Blairfield,
David R. Lacedman,
David Prudencio Lamanhi,
Joseph Anthony Lenehan,
John Joseph Lennon.
So, for those who are joining us, today marks the 24th year anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, and we are definitely definitely in debt to the firefighters, the police officers, the EMTs, like Ramon and other folks have said, who lost their lives. September 11th, the terrorist attacks again, as I said, the deadliest attacks on U.S. history, one of the deadliest attacks on U.S. soil. We definitely gotta make sure that we are paying homage to what it is, the fight for terrorism that still continues in the Middle East, and its prevention, I should say, preventing terrorism. Um, the commercial airplanes that not only uh, killed people and people's lives were lost in the Pentagon in D.C., but and just the other sites, and for me, the national response that has shocked the world and the nation, leading to an outpouring of grief and the display of unity, that in the days that follow, we have to be able to really think about the outpouring of grief. Maybe next year, this time, we'll celebrate from on the ground. Maybe we'll do a live on the ground. I definitely want to do something more than, just a live stream, but to be able to kind of participate, to share in the events. So, this event has changed our world, and I cannot say enough about how it has. So, I want to thank you guys for. I want to thank you guys for joining in. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and the anniversary, the day that will forever remain in our thoughts, our prayers, and our hearts. We hope that these memories will not go in left in vain, but people continue to talk about things through reflection and through strength. I always remember the 9/11, and for the most part, I definitely want to make sure that you know I take this day off. I am a military veteran, and I want to be in a peaceful, quiet place to pray about it. It is a day that I'm gonna mourn, and I will celebrate as well. Because any tragedy, for our health, for our mental stability, we have to celebrate these things and celebrate the survivors, celebrate the folks who gave their lives, and honor them in every respect. So I want to thank you guys for watching and participating and really sharing. And as you continue to talk about these events, let's not let these lives go without recognition of who they were, the people who perished, the first responders, the folks on the ground. And there's a lot of great documentaries out there. So remembering 9/11. So I want to thank you guys. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to subscribe and like Amir Shakur Speaks channel on the Facebook page. You could always reach me at Amir Shakur Speaks at gmail.com. And yeah, come on, Ramona said that would be, let me pull that up. That would be a wonderful idea. Sure, you guys join us down next year on the 9/11 ground, and maybe we can do a live show. Yep, cool. Thank y'all for joining in, and I appreciate y'all. And let's continue on in discussing how these things have affected our history, including today, the memorial for and remembrance of 9/11. And one more thing, when we lend a hand as Americans, when we lend a hand to build community and support one another, then nothing changes the landscape of our community. When we are about community, Um, and what happened on 9/11 changed our community. So let's continue to support each other. Let's continue to uplift each other, and let's teach and preach about 9/11. Um, just basic discussions. Amen. We should honor. Thank you. Thanks, Ramona. Hey, listen, guys, thank you for joining me. I'm gonna jump off the live stream now. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me at Amir Shakur speaks at gmail.com, and drop me a line, and I appreciate y'all. So thank you again, and y'all be cool. Peace.